Good afternoon. I'm going to open this special public meeting on our VDOT secondary 6-year plan and turn the floor over to Mr. Thornton from VDOT.
Mr. Thornton.
Mr. Chairman, board members, hope everybody's having a good afternoon. So in front of you is our draft secondary 6-year plan,
What's this?
which shows that in fiscal year 2031, the county will be receiving $84,687,000 in telefees and $118,268 in district grant unpaved funds. Once we plug those funds into the projects currently in the plan, we're plugging in $84,169, which is the pretty much fair amount of the balance on the district grant unpaved that's going into New Anna Road. Then Supervisor Barnes had requested that we move Midway Lane to the bottom of the plan last year, so that's what we've done. We've moved it to the bottom of the plan, and then the balance of the district grant unpaved, I believe, is going to the 2030-31 fiscal year, which would still leave a balance to complete of about $53,000, a little over that. And then the $84,687 in telefees is being put in the balance entry account for the countywide rural additions.
Good job.
Questions, amendments requested to the plan?
No. We need a motion to approve it.
Yeah, I do have one question, and I know we've talked about it. I'm just looking here now. So Poplar Avenue,
Yes.
when is the start date on that? June, after June,
So
the
it
next
is-
fiscal year?
It is fully funded next fiscal year. So what will happen on the VDOT side of things is after July 1, we will do funding verification to make sure we have all the money. And then in the fall, that's usually when our crews will go through, after the leaves fall, clear any, do any tree trimming, anything like that, any ditching. And then in the spring, once it warms up, that's when they'll tar and chip the road. And so everything should be completed right around spring of next year.
Okay.
I'm gonna get Dusty Road paved here shortly, Tommy. You couldn't get it done.
I couldn't do it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thornton, if you could remind me what telefee is?
Telefee is funds that are generated through agreements we have with utility companies that they allow, or we allow them to run their utilities alongside the road, so then those funds are put back into the 6-year plan for the localities.
Great, thank you.
Only where you have easement, not prescription.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What else is going on in VDOT, since we have another 55 minutes?
What do you want to talk about?
I have a question, if the chairman would recognize.
Yes, sir, Mr. McConnell.
Could you just give us a 30,000-foot view of the process to create a rural addition? I know I'm a little new to this, and I've been trying to understand it, but I know one is a tar and chip and one is actual gravel, and I've had some constituents that are asking me how they could get to where they're at now to where they can get to tar and chip.
So rural addition has to either already be a state maintained road, or in order for it to become a state maintained road, it has to have been in service for 20 years or more, serve 3 or more residents.
Dusty Road. I'm gonna get it
There
done.
are, the one that comes up frequently is Bohannon Road, I believe.
That's
the one
that's the
I'm
one he wants to
referring
talk about.
So,
Ding, 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 ding,
brought
ding,
it
ding, ding.
So there are some things with that. I mean, I know that some of the citizens have called and spoken to us about that. But what I can do, Supervisor McCotter, if you'll forgive me for not knowing the whole process, is send you the link to all of the requirements for it. I know we had looked at this probably 3 years ago. Bohannon does qualify. There's just a matter of it being put on the 6-year plan to.
It's up to you.
The way I understood it, there was an easement that was still in question, so, yeah.
There may be some easements, like I don't think the entirety of Bohannon would be on there just yet, but there is some length of it that could be done.
Yeah, I don't even think it's called Bohannon, what we're talking about. It's something else, Retreat Road or something.
He's talking about when you get into the end and hook a right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what he's talking about.
The issue with that is Bohannon into state maintenance ends, and then the rest of Bohannon that's not in the system continues on,
Yeah.
and then Retreat takes off from that. But in order for Retreat to be taken into the system, which I ultimately believe is what the homeowners want, is for that road to be state maintained, you have to connect them. So it would have to, the state maintained roads have to connect.
And, and I think to come into state spec, unless something has changed, or into state maintenance, you have to have the easements under control, or the property necessary for the road under control, the
Yes.
utilities, has to be of sufficient width,
Sufficient width, design.
ditching.
Yes, sir.
Like, essentially, what's your requirements? I'm trying to speak for you, but your requirements essentially dictate a level of road that is at state maintenance level prior to acceptance into the state system. Is that not still correct?
That is correct, but with the rural addition, there's a way to get the road up to state spec and fund it that way, but you're limited in the length of the
Gotcha.
road that you can do
Gotcha.
it at any given time
Makes
through the
sense.
rural addition program.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Ms. Barnes.
First thing, hey, how you doing, Scott?
Doing well, how are you, sir?
2 quick ones. You got Midway Lane on here?
He wants to move back to the top now.
No, I don't. No, I don't. But like I said before, ain't no houses on Midway Lane,
Okay.
so it really shouldn't be on here.
You want to take it off?
I mean, there ain't no houses on there. Some of y'all may remember Midway Lane is where the asphalt company that previously tried to come here, that's the road that they're on. And they paved a lot of it going down themselves. So I wouldn't see the pros of doing it. Second thing, Roundabout Road, 604. When will you all come back and do maintenance on that?
All time.
What type of maintenance?
Well, I've gotten several phone calls about how rough it is right now. About Nanny Burton Road, up in that area.
Okay. So right now, we're, doing our pothole blitz and trying to get those things taken care of. But I can double check and see if it's on the paving schedule, and I'll have somebody take a look at it and see
Thank
what
you.
kind of
Thank you so much.
intermediates.
Thank you. I'm done, guys.
Mr. Barnes. Since Midway Lane's slated available funding at 96,000, do you want to officially take it off?
Yes.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I move that we take it off Midway Lane.
We need
Where
to have
would
a
you,
meeting.
where would you,
Substantial.
where would you like the funds to go to the balance entry account for rural additions, or?
Pave my driveway if you want.
Well,
Let's take it off, and then we'll answer that question.
I'm trying to be a team player, board members.
Yeah. So is there a second to that?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Now we can ask that question.
We don't have to put it, can we just, where can we store it? Because this is not happening till 2028, 29, 30,
I
31.
just need the board to tell me if y'all would like to put the balance that's in there now into the countywide traffic services or the countywide rural addition balance entry, or countywide engineering and survey.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I think putting in the countywide rural additions would be the best place to do it.
Hold on now. We got a bunch of money in there right now.
But we ain't got enough to do Dusty Road.
Mr.
Don't.
Chairman,
Oh, look at that. We get Dusty Road in there.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
may I ask Mr. Thornton for his insight? I know you've asked us, but what would Mr. Thornton want $96,000 to go into? I know you're barely able to keep up with potholes, and I know you're struggling to keep up with other things, but you probably know a little bit more about this than us. For us to tell you where to put the money, we could do that, but where would you like to see the money?
Well, I mean, it's the board's plan, it's the county's plan.
Of course.
So,
But we like wise counsel.
I think,
If you were on the board, you would put it in.
I mean, I would, for right now, put it in one of the balance entries accounts.
Because you can move it every year.
You can move it, and then next year, if there's a priority that comes up or something that comes up throughout the year, that a study that needs to be done or something in advance of smart scale, you could pull it from the traffic services or engineering and survey.
Well, and you don't
balance
have the
entries.
money till 29
I
and
was gonna say,
30
we're 4
anyway.
fiscal years out anyway.
Right. So, I mean, there's some money in each one of those accounts, and then if, the board so chose and they wanted to move some of that current funding around, you could do that as well.
Mr. Barnes, your suggestion was to put it where?
In rural edition.
You want to make that a motion?
I move that we put it in rural edition.
Second for Dusty Road.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There's where we put it, Mr. Thornton.
So with this draft plan, what I will do is I will have these edits made,
I have a question before he moves on.
and when you get the draft plan, the board would just need to do a resolution to advertise for a public hearing once we've made these modifications.
And y'all can thank
Jones.
me for being a team player.
Yeah, that's right. Mrs. Jones.
I see that West Green Springs Road is at the top of the list, 617, and I just want to make sure that that boundary adjustment to the Chisholm's property, that it's not going to go past that.
Yes, ma'am. And one other thing, we do not have a resolution for West Green Springs declaring it a rural rustic, but they did make a legislative change for the district grant unpaved this year, to where if the board so chose, you would not have to hard surface the road. You could take that money. It wouldn't be a rural rustic where you would have it hard surfaced, but we could go back in, do things like cut the ditches, all the other maintenance activities, basically up to the point where we would tar and chip it. It is a one-time use for that, but if you did not want to have it paved.
I don't think that it's very favorable of the neighbors that they want this rural rustic. I think they're very happy with the way it is.
Okay.
From the residents I've spoken with, I mean, I know that it was something I thought that you all had wanted to do to help with the maintenance because of the gravel. It was very costly and so forth. Is that correct?
That is correct,
Or am
and part of that is because it's district grant unpaved. So district grant unpaved previously was to be used explicitly for hard surfacing
Gotcha.
of the roads. However, the legislation did change this year to
Okay,
where
so
you
now it's
don't
more
have.
flexible?
Yeah, so it's a little more flexible. So what I'm saying is I do not need a resolution from the board to declare it a rural rustic, but I do need a recommendation on the 6-year plan from the board if you just want to use it for unpaved road maintenance, to just basically say that you want that project changed to an unpaved road maintenance project versus a rural rustic.
So you say there's money left over when you don't do hard surface it?
Is it cheaper to do that?
I would just take that money that's in the project right now and do the work. And then anything that was left over from doing that, it would just fall down the list.
262,000 could help go a long way on Dusty Road.
That's right.
Well, and I don't believe that these neighbors on this road were in love with the idea. They were just going
I'm trying to
along
help
with
you.
it. So I'm happy to make, do I need to make a motion? What's the plan here? I'm happy with that. We
So if you just want to make a motion to
I'll
not
make a
have it be a
motion.
rural rustic
Not
and
have it
just
be
use
a
it.
rural rustic, if someone wants to second it. And then any allocated
Second.
fund could go to Dusty
Me
Road.
and Fitz getting Dusty Road.
I see that, I see that.
Tommy couldn't get it
We
done in
have-
20
hold on,
years.
Hold
I'm
on.
glad somebody.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's out. Mr. McCarty?
It's a good thing. They'll be
Mr.
happy.
Thornton, we're giving lots of money back. I'm curious, is there any money for litter pickup from VDOT?
For a 6-year plan?
I mean, I don't even know if the 6-year plan includes any litter pickup, but I'm just curious.
Not really, sir.
Okay. So when I have a resident that says VDOT, I called VDOT's office and VDOT says they don't clean up the roads. And then,
Right.
you know, we have citizens volunteering to clean up the roads. There's no way that VDOT can clean up roads.
So we do
They
litter
do?
pickups in advance of the
Oh,
mowing
yeah.
operations.
Yeah.
And then we have at least 2 extra pickups throughout the county that we pay for with the contractors that do the litter pickups in advance of the mowing operations. However, the Adopt a Highway program is the next best partnership that we have to remove litter from the
Now,
road.
litter pickup in advance of mowing operations is on subcontracted mowing operations along the main roads, not on the little back roads that he speaks of. Is that accurate?
Correct. That's done by
So
our
if
state
if
forest.
VDOT mows it, there's no litter pickup ahead of them. But if the subcontractor comes up down 33, they do pick up the trash.
My
at
area
5:20.
headquarters guys do pick up the trash. in
I was gonna say,
advance of
I've
their-
seen you guys down the
Yeah.
little back roads picking trash up.
Our folks will do it. I mean,
Yeah.
we have crews assigned every day for litter pickup. It's just across all the roads in Louisa County, 4 or 5 people a day.
Mr. Barnes?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Barnes?
along those lines, Ms. McCarter, am I dreaming
Yes.
that we won't ever see a regional jail crew anymore picking up trash?
No, hold on. We have an update.
Okay.
We have an update.
Call that a nightmare.
Yeah, so help me because I know you were on this. So the issue from the Central Virginia Regional Jail is the security level of the prisoners, but I will quote because we just got this email, Friday, I think, Mr. Goodwin.
That's right.
So the superintendent, Mr. Dyer, reached out because several jurisdictions, including Louisa, currently the workforce is a little over 400 inmates. Of those 400, only 33 are misdemeanor offenders. They did do a review of their felon population. They found approximately 10 nonviolent felony offenders that are sentenced and have release dates between May and December of this year. If these 10 prisoners clear medical screening and are willing to participate in their workforce program, the question was, are there any objections from the jail authority for using these nonviolent felony offenders for this program? We would schedule each jurisdiction 1 week at a time as long as they could maintain an inmate work crew with a minimum of 5 inmates. They also need 40 to do functions in the jail. So that was sent out last week. Both the sheriff and I, did you respond?
I didn't. I
You
wasn't
didn't get
on
it. So this was to the jail authority, which,
after my email to him.
yes,
That's
so
when
this was, the sheriff and I are the representatives, and neither of us have any objections. I saw other answers coming in from other jurisdictions. No one had any objections. So they are trying to put together a work crew of 5. They only have 10 that are eligible. So I guess stand by, right? We have, I think our next regional jail authority meeting is later this month, which I'm sure that'll be a topic. Mr. Goodwin did reach out to the superintendent to ask if we could start that. So the answer is maybe.
That'd be great if we can.
But it is interesting that, you know, the population over there now is only 33 are misdemeanor offenders. The rest of them are felony offenders. So there's a possibility, which last year, there was not even enough nonviolent to even try to put it together. So there is a chance.
Well, I appreciate you following up on that, Mr. Chairman, and I hope that we can make that happen.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. I believe that there was a figure floated at one point, when you hired the contractors, how much is it per square mile? It was a pretty significant amount.
I don't have it right
You
off
don't
the top
have
of
it
my
in
head.
front, yeah.
But yes, it's not insignificant.
No,
It's not an
it
insignificant.
was extremely
for the contract.
expensive, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Well, speaking of litter, and I spoke to you, I spoke to you about this today, and we'll speak about it again tonight because I know we're having you come back. I've noticed recently a lot of I'll call them yard signs, advertising a business, advertising, almost like a political sign, but they're not political signs. In the VDOT right-of-way, in the roundabout at Ware's Crossroads, and we spoke about that today. And I want to speak about it when hopefully we have more people here tonight. But number one, my understanding of that is, number one, it's illegal. Number two, it's a hazard, especially a hazard in the roundabout at Ware's Crossroads. When I went through there yesterday, there were 4 signs in the roundabout, which means somebody had to get out, cross traffic, put them there. If people are going through the roundabout, if they're trying to pay attention to the sign, they're obviously not paying attention to the traffic. And you had mentioned to me that you had picked up, not you personally, but VDOT had picked up at Zion's Crossroads a trailer load full of them last February or something, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. So, as you stated, they're not supposed to be in the right of way. It's a violation of our outdoor advertising standards to have those. It's in the state code for that. Our crews go out frequently. It's part of their job to pick those things up as they see them. However, they just have a tendency, like weeds, to pop back up. We did make a push. I think it was at the request of Fluvanna County last winter. We had 2 pushes after the election. We did one to remove a lot of the political signs that, after election, we usually wait, several weeks to let the groups pick up their signs, and then we will go through and do a push. But we did 2 separate runs last winter and in February where we picked up a trailer load of signs both times, and that was just from in and around Zion Crossroads, basically at the intersection from 250 and 15, on 15 from about a half a mile south of 250 up through the DDI at Zion Crossroads, and then maybe a quarter mile in each direction.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's a substantial amount just on those pushes. I'd say any given week, I'm able to fill up a roll-off container with those signs.
What do you charge? Do you charge the people? For example, over the last 3 days, I've counted well in excess of 50 just between where I pull out on 522 and the bridge at, on 208. It's what's in the roundabout of a carpet cleaning company. So it's not hard to get a hold of them. Their names on it and their phone numbers
50
on there.
carpet cleaning companies, sir?
Pardon?
50 carpet cleaning
Carpet,
companies?
that's what it says. It's J&R, J&B.
50 carpet cleaning signs between yours house and the roundabout.
They're at every intersection that comes out.
That's
They're
excessive.
along 522. There's
Vicious,
3 of
that's
them in the roundabout when I went through yesterday. They're all up and down 208. They're at the intersection of 208 and Kentucky Springs Road. That's just the ones that I've seen. So if you're going out to pick them up, does VDOT try to recoup that expense?
So in some localities across the Commonwealth, yes. I think in a lot of times it's kind of the juice isn't worth the squeeze to go through and do that. The fine is about $100
A sign?
per sign.
50 times 100 is 5,000.
But then you have to prove that they were the ones that put it out there, how it got put out, things like that. So
It'd be pretty easy if you got 50 signs that are for one carpet cleaning company that popped up over the weekend.
So there are other private folks that put those signs out for the company. So we do call them to let them know that they should not put those signs out there. But they pop up. If it's not a carpet cleaning sign, it could be somebody for
Boat rentals.
power washing the house, jet ski rentals. I mean, it could be anything.
Oh,
right?
come on, that's a low blow, man, that's a low blow. That's a low blow. Those are floating in the lake, man, are you kidding me? Those are floating in the lake.
I'm sorry. You allowed me
So
that.
I did notice,
Pick up on it, my man.
I did notice on the way here, there were some insurance agencies and some constructions companies advertising.
I have
And
no construction signs ever. You've never seen one of my
well,
construction signs.
I think Spotsylvania, that was funny, though.
No, it was hilarious is what it was.
Wait a minute, I got
Wasn't funny.
I think Spotsylvania passed an ordinance 2 or 3 years ago that outlawed them, right? Because they're trash. I mean, nobody, I've never seen anybody come back
Wanted us to
and
pass
pick
an
them up.
ordinance and
What I
they
have
didn't.
seen, when VDOT mows the roads or your contractor, if they don't see them, they mow them, and especially the wire, because if the sign's gone, the wire's hidden in the grass. I've seen the wire out in the middle of 522, and it could damage the equipment.
Yes, sir. So with Spotsylvania, and I can certainly share this, this code language with staff. So Spotsylvania has done 2 things, and Fredericksburg has done it. There are other localities that have done it. They basically have entered into an agreement with VDOT, and it's in the state code to do this, where the commissioner grants authority to the locality to outlaw the signs, to designate county staff if they want to assist with VDOT in the removal of it, and then it also allows for if the locality wants to take on the task of collecting the fines, the locality gets to keep whatever fines that they've collected. So
And you could specifically exempt some companies, right? Like jet ski rentals maybe or something, yeah.
I don't know that there's an exemption out for that, but it does allow
Well, it gets called out a lot, obviously, so.
for setting up the signs for the removal. So I know a lot of localities, Spotsylvania, Fredericksburg, they have engaged on.
Can you send that to Mr. Goodwin? I don't know that we want to do that, but it may be something to look at, because they are litter. I mean, there's no doubt. Yes, ma'am.
I believe our staff does have that. Mr. Kuhn and I had worked a little bit on that a couple of years ago. We had, and I know you probably remember, we had a developer that had started a subdivision up and was putting them up at night. And you guys would go and take them down in the day, and literally at nighttime, 50 more would pop up. This went on a whole summer.
Yes, ma'am.
And
remember
I
that.
think it was under our last director of community development, he also got fed up and made a phone call to the developer, and they eventually stopped. But Mr. Kuhn had been doing some research for me on just that. So I think but if you want to send it to him, but I do believe we have some stuff in the works for it,
Okay.
Those
Yeah, I'll certainly
fines,
send it.
possibility.
those fines that the locality would be tasked with collecting or have the opportunity to collect, what would those fines be pointed to be used for? Is there any kind of ordinance that says what those fines would have to be used for?
I have to double check the code again, but I believe once you collect them, if you wanted to use them for
Additional litter pickup or something.
additional litter pickup, or
Jet ski
to fund the
rentals.
staff,
Okay,
things like that.
might be worth looking into.
Dusty road.
I have a couple other questions.
Go ahead.
If
You have
this
the floor.
topic is,
We have 31 minutes.
yeah, well,
We're being very efficient. We're doing our 6-year plan, and we're doing our VDOT quarterly update all at the same time.
I think we could be
I
doing
like
that.
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Would you like to
I like it when Scott comes, because obviously, I have some things in the district that Scott can help with. One is, there are 2 areas where it looks like fiber is creating situations that need to be addressed, and I bet you know about both of them. One is in Contrary Creek, if you're heading towards 208 on Kentucky Springs, right before the Contrary Creek Bridge, there is a culvert that is gone there. Well, let's say that something was done there where cable went across the lake. I don't know who did it, Verizon, Amazon, I don't know. But what has happened is that, and this morning was a really good example, a road, an entrance was created there. So this large piece of equipment could run that cable underneath the lake bottom. Now there's no culvert there. So the water, when it was freezing, would back up and flow across the road, and it was extremely dangerous because it would freeze. This morning there was a river flowing across there because there's no way for the water to get over that road. If y'all could look into that, I know the citizens of Cuckoo would be very grateful, as well as everybody who uses that road, which has gotten very dangerous lately. Number 2, at Gate O, or Gate 0, over at the Lake Inna Technology Campus, I tell you what, the contractor there is doing a really good job keeping gravel out of the road, because they have a truck that actually sweeps it almost hourly, which is amazing to me. I think that's an incredible commitment to everyone that uses that road. However, I asked, why don't you just put a stub of asphalt there? So you don't turn directly off of Kentucky Springs Road into gravel, and that gravel keeps migrating into the road, and you have to pay these guys in the sweeper truck to come out every hour. What I was told is that there's cable there, or fiber optic cable there, Verizon cable, that is too close to the surface for them to put asphalt down. And I'm assuming that's in your right of way. And I don't know whether you know about that, but they said that they were working hard to get that done. If we could get that asphalt in there, that solves a lot of the problems, because I will get almost daily complaints about gravel in the road there. And to me, they're doing a great job keeping the gravel out of the road. But to others, one piece of gravel is too much. So that's why I was trying to figure out how to get that asphalt turned in there. If you could check on that and see how we can fix that, that would be great.
Yep, I'll have our permit staff take a look at it.
Thanks.
Well, since we are kind of moving in, and we may just,
I think you just do the quarterly update right here.
maybe,
Finish it up.
huh?
Just finish up the quarterly update.
Yeah, do that. Since we are kind of doing your quarterly update, maybe we'll just finish it up here and take it off the agenda for tonight. But I do have a question for you. Pleasant Church Road and Mansfield Road, there's a possible business that wants to reopen there that would have about 175 heavy truck traffic loads, trips per day, 6 days a week. That's 16 trips an hour. That's about one every 3.5 minutes. Are there any plans, especially on the Mount Pleasant Road area, any plans to do any significant shoulder work or upgrades to Mount Pleasant or Mansfield Road anytime within the next 2 to 3 years?
Not in the next 2 to 3 years. I know for the Mansfield section that is on the paving schedule, but I believe it's probably 3 to 4 years out before any kind of significant work would be done on that road.
And then there's no plans that I'm aware of that the single-lane bridge that's on Mount Pleasant Road there below the closed quarry, which is a one-lane bridge and pretty small weight limit. There's no immediate plans to upgrade that, is there?
No, sir. Nothing in the immediate future.
Do you happen to know, or can we get, or what would be the best way to get a traffic count on Mansfield and really Mansfield Road from 522 back to the intersection of Chalk Level?
That would fall under the countywide engineering and survey.
I can check and see when the most recent count was done and provide that. But I think Mr. Williams just hit on it. If there hasn't been a count, then certainly you can request one, and we can use countywide engineering and get the traffic study done.
But if it'd be a traffic study, so it'd be a cost to the county coming out of our VDOT
Oh,
allotment?
the 6-year plan, yes.
Or the other option, Sheriff's Department has a speed limit trailer that tells you your speed limit, but it also monitors a number of trips per day too, so that would give us basically the same information.
If you wanted to use that, I probably
Okay.
wouldn't.
Could you let me know when the latest, and in that same vein, we talked the last time you were here about a possible signage for Lake Anna on Route 29 South to Route 3 to 522. Will you ever get an update on that?
That would be a Virginia logo sign, so I'm going to forward you the contact information for that individual, as well as staff
Okay.
to have that sign
Thank you.
installed.
Well, if the board doesn't have any objection, I'm going to let Mr. Thornton, after Mr. Woodward has a question, give his quarterly update, and we'll save you from coming back in 2 hours. Yes, Mr. Woodward?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Thornton, feeding off of what Chairman said, do you know if there's been any recent traffic counts on Chalk Level Road?
I believe 3 years ago, we did counts on Chalk Level. There was request for through truck restriction, I believe, as part of that study. Traffic counts were done on that road. So if you would like that information, I can provide it to you.
If you would, please.
Anything else?
I have one more.
Yes, sir.
Kentucky Springs Road, we just had a bunch of culverts repaired. What is the process when their culverts are torn out, gravelled, and then paved? Is there an inspection on that, and they meet a certain standard, and that it's okay? They don't have to be carved down or anything?
So the work that they're doing now is in advance of the paving schedule.
That's my next question. When
So
will that begin?
What they're doing is they're taking any of the pipes, and this is because we don't want to pave it and then have to go back in and dig up brand new asphalt to put the pipes in.
Totally get that.
So when they put the pipes in, they'll backfill them. Typically, what the area headquarters will do is they'll let it sit for about a day. They do tamp the rock and the stone down. However, there's just no substitute for thousands of cars running over top of it. So they'll let it settle out and then come back and put more rock or asphalt, I believe is what they're putting back on it. They'll put those back on there, and the intent is that that is not supposed to sit for too much longer before the paving company is going to come in. They will come in, mill everything down flat, and then pave over it. Very similar to how they did the upper end of Kentucky Springs last year. We have told the contractor that they're to be in and out before Memorial Day, and then if they're planning on coming after, then they need to come after Labor Day so that we're not running into the summer traffic. And that's just kind of the process. But yes, they are inspected. We have an inspector out there while they are doing the work.
Is it the same contractor that did the upper section, so to speak, that's doing the lower section?
No, I believe the lower section is being done by Cuckoo Area Headquarters.
Okay. The only reason I say this, I feel like we're learning the same lesson over again, which I don't know why we're doing that. I mean, it's over now, it's been paved, but on Friday, it was tamped with gravel, and then by Sunday, you couldn't drive through there at speed. And then they came back and put the asphalt over it, which is the exact same thing they did on the other end near Food Line. And people were, we broke a tie rod. Our family broke a tie rod hitting that. And it's just a matter of, I don't know how many they did, 5, 6 of them. 2 of them, you hit them so hard, it's like, oh my gosh, I think I just, broke my front axle at 45 miles an hour, and it's 55 there. So I just want to make sure that we get that, I don't know what the term milled is. There's one of them there that really needs to be milled, Scott.
Okay.
Thank you.
Milled would imply it sticks up. Sticks up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe they leave it just a little bit proud so that there's something there to.
A little bit,
mill out.
I get.
All right, Mr. Thornton, you want to give your quarterly update? We'll let you be home for supper.
So, our maintenance crews, they're continuing their debris cleanup.
I'm sorry, did you have a question, Ms. Shaw?
No, it's fine. It kind of went with the same question he was asking.
Okay.
Are they doing the same process with the potholes all around, that they're just sort of putting rough, gravelly tar in them? Are they coming back like Columbia Road and so forth?
Yes, Columbia,
And then
yeah.
they'll be repaving them?
Yeah, so I was just getting.
Then let's listen to that, yes.
So, they're working on their debris cleanup. We are doing our pothole blitz for the post-winter ops. On average, we're doing anywhere between 300 to, I think we had gotten up to almost 600 potholes patched for a week for just Louisa County. So what they are doing is in the areas where you've got particularly rough sections. Mr. Goodwin and I talked earlier today, 33 is one, Columbia Road is one. There are some other sections throughout the county. They're patching those with our cold mix. We've got a contractor come in to patch some of the shallower ones. When it does warm up a little bit, we will have our contractor come in and cut those sections back down and put a better wearing surface on that. So I would say that would be a little bit later this spring, maybe early summer. We do need temperatures to be warm so that they can get the material and go to work. So pipe replacements are ongoing countywide in advance of the paving schedule. The notice to proceed for that work was issued last month. So, and the intent again for the roads in your area, sir, are to try to be in there before Memorial Day weekend, or if they can't, be after Labor Day. Route 15 project is currently on schedule. I would look for that project as far as paving and a lot of the guardrail work and stuff to start picking up later this spring. They are going to be putting regular updates on the website, so if you need that link again to share, I can certainly
That'd
send
be
that
great, yes.
to you. And then we had our third stakeholder meeting for Hamilton Road Bridge 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, I believe it was.
Yes.
2 weeks ago Wednesday. The stakeholder group largely coalesced around the idea of a bridge replacement. So that is what we're moving forward with, is a replacement bridge. So currently our environmental staff is working on getting the environmental clearances. Once they have that, then we will order the steel and plan for a project to having to replace the bridge later this fall or early next year. Just, it really depends on the lead time for the fabrication of the steel, as well as just the process with negotiating or discussing the environmental impacts with Department of Historic Resources and National Park Service. They have a 30-day comment period each time
Yeah.
we share with them. And then there will also be, as part of any bridge project, we have public involvement process, so there'll be design public hearings and other sections for public involvement to comment on the design and things like that as we move forward. As those come out, I will be letting staff as well as yourself know. And then the stakeholders will also get, the stakeholder group will also get notified as part of that. And that's pretty much my report. I think we've discussed a lot on that.
Good
So,
Does anybody have any, I think we've questioned you out, but I'll ask the question. Anybody have any further questions for Mr. Thornton? Well, and does anyone on the board have any objection that we don't have him back? We'll amend the agenda. All right. Mr. Thornton, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so
Enjoy dinner at home.
we will adjourn this work session and come back at 5 o'clock.
All right. Can't start early? Let's close session. Really?
Yep.